With over 81 million active buyers across the world, Etsy is a fantastic place to kickstart your online business. But with so many options out there, it can be difficult to know what to sell that's actually going to make you a decent amount of profit. Today, I'm going to take you through a 6-step process to know exactly what to choose to sell on Etsy that's going to give you a profitable business model. Through this exact process, I've been able to scale my personal store to over $5,000 in profit each and every month. Step 1 is to identify your skills and your passions. What are you really good at? What do you enjoy doing? Go ahead and actually write out a list of what you're good at and what your passions are. Really, nothing is off limits at this point. We're in the brainstorming phase and we want as many ideas as possible to go off of. This could be more traditional, like knitting or woodworking, or this could be something kind of unique. I really think that the future of Etsy is going to be more unique things outside of the box. So if you're into knitting, you could knit a sweater once and sell it once on Etsy. Or you could create a digital pattern for that sweater and sell it over and over again as a digital product on Etsy with much less work on your end. What if you're good with spreadsheets or budget spreadsheets, Notion templates? All of these things are amazing, and there are people out there looking and searching on Etsy for these products in order to become more efficient in these respective systems. With Etsy, the options are limitless, and I really encourage you to think outside the box. The more skills and passions you have written down in the left side of the Venn diagram, the more things we'll have to choose from when we go to do the research phase on the right side of the Venn diagram in step 2. Before we move on to step 2, if you would like a free copy of my Etsy Success Starter Guide, the link is in the description below. Step 2 is to research the market. Once you've identified your skills and your passions, it is essential to research the market on Etsy. Researching the market is often an overlooked step, but it is perhaps the most crucial to make sure that you have a profitable Etsy shop. Any marketplace, including Etsy, runs off of supply and demand. You can have the most amazing, high-quality, life-changing product ever, but if there's no customer demand for it, you will never sell a single unit. So validating customer demand is incredibly crucial to having a profitable Etsy shop. On the flip side of that coin, you also want to validate that there's not too much competition out there in the Etsy marketplace. There are 2 software tools that I use when I'm coming up with new products to sell on Etsy. I do want to preface this section by saying, yes, these tools do cost money. Both of them have free trials, but once the free trials are up, there's going to be a monthly and/or annual fee included, depending on how you choose to pay for it. But I think these tools are more than worth their weight in gold. These 2 tools are what have allowed me to take my store from $1,000 a month in profit to $5,000 a month in profit. So I can 5x my returns with just a few dollars a month. That is equivalent to buying a coffee. So for me, it is more than worth it to make sure that I have an actual business model that's going to be sustainable and actually make me decent profit and give me good returns for the time that I'm putting into this store. The first tool that I use is called eRank. eRank is an analysis tool that helps analyze data for keywords with both demand and competition. It's going to analyze, based off the keywords that you put into it, how many other competitor search results there are for that keyword, and also how many searches per month customers are putting into Etsy looking for that product. So it's going to tell you the supply and the demand for any given keyword. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my live screen and show you an example of how I use eRank. We're going to use a necklace as an example. Okay, so here we are in eRank currently, and there's a lot going on with the dashboard, but for today we are under Keyword Explorer, and this is where we've typed in our more generic keyword, which is necklace. And if we scroll down, this dashboard is going to kind of give us an overview. As you can see, there's a lot of monthly searches, over 61,000, but the Etsy competition is wild. 3.7 million current listings have the same keyword. So we want to target keywords that have less competition. So if we scroll down, eRank's going to start giving us other ideas that have a supply versus demand ratio. And we're going to scroll down here and kind of check them out. And I just want to stop on this one that says Vivienne Westwood and just give them a little note here. Anything that's trademarked or anything like that, we want to stay away from. So do your research. If something's trademarked, you don't want to touch it because that's a good way to get your Etsy shop shut down. It's illegal actually, so just stay away from that kind of stuff. So we keep scrolling, and right here, birth flower necklace, that is going to be a great option. As you can see, it has over 8,200 average monthly searches and less than 8,100 current listings that have that same keyword. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's pretty good. Ideally, we'd have it even less than a 1-to-1 ratio, but for now, that's a great start. And we're going to use that in our next tool, Everbee, to kind of do some more research on that. So birth flower necklace is a great one. Keep scrolling here. Okay, so I just want to stop again. Harry Styles necklace, again, trademarked, personality, don't really touch it. It's just a good way to get your Etsy shop shut down. But the one right below it, ring holder necklace, it has a lot of average monthly searches and not as much competition. And so it could be a good option for us to explore. So we'll go ahead and save that one as well. And then the final one that could be a good option is angel number necklace. Again, I'm not super familiar with that, so I need to do some research, make sure it's not trademarked, but it could be a good option for us. So I'm going to just go ahead and save it. So at this point, you just want to save anything that could be a potential, and then we're going to research a little bit more with our other tool to kind of know exactly where we should focus. But that's kind of the basic of eRank. The second tool that I use is called Everbee. Everbee is a Chrome extension that you can use once you're in the Etsy platform and doing your research in order to help decide if any idea or keyword or listing type is going to actually be profitable. Again, it doesn't matter how much search volume there is for something if it's not actually going to turn you any profit. If you're going to put a lot of work into sourcing, designing, and creating listings for a product, you want to make sure that your time is worth it and that you're actually going to be able to make a profit. And Everbee can help with that. Again, I'm going to jump over to my live screen and show you an example using what we found in eRank. So now we're in Etsy and we've typed in birth flower necklace. We want to make sure it matches what our keywords that we looked up in eRank was. So I believe there was a space there. And so we're in here, we're checking it out. This is what the customer is going to see. And just a quick tip for you guys. If we go down here to filters and we go down and filter by star seller, we can apply that. Etsy actually recently took away the ability to filter by bestseller, but I have a little bit of a workaround for you guys. So up here in the URL where it says star seller, we're just going to delete star and type in best and enter, and it's going to repopulate as if that old filter for bestseller was on, because we want to know what's bestseller. The star seller is kind of other criteria, including feedback, shipping time of the seller, things like that, which is all great, but we want to know what's hot and what's selling. So now we're scrolling down here and we're just using this to get ideas. I would go ahead and skip this first row that says ads because we want to organically rank with SEO. That's the whole point of why we're doing all of this, is to not spend our money on ads. I mean, we can, it's a strategy we can use, but for this, we want to just rank organically very strongly. So just start looking at, could you make this? Is this something you have the ability to make or source? You could do the design and then outsource the actual manufacturing, see how much they're selling for, see what kind of stores have high competition. Ooh, I love this one right here. The NT handmade jewelry with the real flowers. That is absolutely beautiful. This one right here by Torianic Jewelry, I can tell you right now that that is print on demand, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think if you're going to start a jewelry store, you might want to start out with something more unique like this dried flower option. Also, if you scroll down, you can see that it clearly is selling for a lot more. That's $41.99. And I'm not sure if shipping's included, and you can check all of that kind of stuff out. In here, what color. Okay, so here we are on this one. It's selling for $41.99, $42, which is pretty awesome. It does, I can see in here, include free shipping. So just something to note, but obviously this one is selling for significantly more than, if we go back, the one that was more print on demand. This one was $18.75. I'm guessing they run a sale most of the time. They only do free shipping if you do over $35. So I'm sure they're making a little bit more money through their shipping here, but I can tell you that this is print on demand. I think that Printful has this option for the engraved look. So again, are you going print on demand or are you going kind of more all in as a necklace store? Then I would probably choose something more like this. It's more unique, it's really cool, although obviously it's more difficult to make. So now I have my Everbee Chrome extension pulled up on the left side, and I'm going to just do this product analysis tool. So I'm going to hit that, and it's going to give me a bunch of details on the right that I can use to help me make an educated decision. So just for this one listing, It has an estimated monthly sales number of 491 and an estimated monthly revenue of just over $20,000. This listing is only 6 months old, which is really great because we do also want to find things that are relatively new, right? Some of these old stores that are 10 years, 8 years old, I'm not saying they're untouchable, but they're a lot harder to compete with versus new stores and new listings. So actually a young listing age is actually very encouraging. And then if we scroll down here, we can also see all of the keywords that they're using in their tag, which is really beneficial when we go to make the listing. But that's not what today's focus is on, which is on the research. We're just trying to validate that this product could actually have a healthy profit margin for us. And based off running our product analysis tool with Everbee, it looks like yes, it really could. Just a single listing from the store is making them over $20,000. I also want to use Everbee to help me analyze trends in the market. What's currently hot? What's selling? What designs, when I go to actually make my product, do I want to help incorporate? Again, our goal here is never to copy another listing. We simply want to get ideas and inspiration so that we know that there's a demand in the marketplace. I'm also going to do a separate video on how we can use Everbee to get strong SEO when it comes to actually creating our listings, but we're going to keep focused on the research phase in this video. So now we've done step 1, we've identified our skills and our passions. We've done step 2, the right side of the Venn diagram. We've validated market demand and profitability of the items. So now we're going to focus on where the left side and the right side of the Venn diagram overlap. Step 3 is defining our target audience. Understanding your target audience is crucial for any business, including a business on Etsy. Who are your ideal customers? What are their buying habits? What do they want? What are they looking for? How much disposable income do they have to spend? These are all important things that you need to think about ahead of time as you think about what to sell on Etsy. Defining your target audience is going to help you create a listing that is going to completely resonate with that target audience and get them to actually buy the product. It's also going to help you tailor your marketing efforts through your listing photos to really just connect with the customer. One example here is a target audience for baby products. So with baby products, you're not actually targeting the baby, you are targeting the parent or the caregiver or the aunts and uncles who are buying presents for the baby shower or what have you. This is what I mean by defining your target audience. You have to get a little creative and really understand who you're marketing to, who's going to be the person actually buying the product. Step number 4 is to consider profit margins. We spoke about this a little bit before in step 2, but it is vital to keep profit margins in mind because although Etsy is a creative endeavor and I hope that you have passion for it, at the end of the day, you need to be turning a profit or you're not going to be able to continue with keeping your shop open. You need to consider all of the costs to you as the business owner that's going into pricing your product. Consider how much it costs to manufacture the item, ship the item, Etsy fees, because Etsy does take a fee. And then once you have determined all of this, determine the price that you can sell the item for that's actually going to still give you a healthy profit margin. Also, don't forget to factor in your own time into that price as well. Your time is worth something and that needs to be reflected in the price. Finding the right balance between profit margin and price is going to be what allows you to have a successful business model and be a successful shop on Etsy. Step number 5 is to make unique or personalized products. Originally, Etsy started out as a vintage and handmade marketplace. It has since expanded, but that idea of having personalized, unique goods still remains. So think about that as you're deciding what to sell on Etsy. How can you make a customer feel special? If they want something generic, they can just go to Amazon and get it in 2 days and pay bottom dollar for it. But if they're coming to Etsy, they oftentimes want it personalized, right? The name of the person that they're gifting this item to, or specific colors that are gonna match their home decor, right? A lot of people selling on Etsy nowadays do not wanna actually be able to let the customer personalize something, but I think this is the best way to stand out as a new shop on Etsy and also a way to scale to make your Etsy shop extremely successful. Personalization isn't the only way. You can also choose to use different materials, approach things a different way. In the birth flower example, a lot of them were the same kind of engraving type of necklace, and that's why the one with the dried flowers stood out so much. It was different. It took a different approach. So as you're researching the market, think about how can I improve on this keyword or on this item, and how can I make it better for the customer? Before we move on to step 6, if you are learning something from this video today, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to my channel and like this video. Step number 6 is to test your product. Before fully committing to selling a product on Etsy and putting time, money, and capital into getting started, it's a really good idea to test the item before you go full scale. Go ahead and create a few samples, share them with friends and families or even across social media to get feedback. You want to make sure that this is a high quality item and that there's actually demand for it before you move forward. If you're still unsure about what to sell on Etsy, I've created an entire separate video about 6 highly profitable Etsy stores just to help get your creative juices flowing. I'm going to go ahead and link that up here, and you can check that out to help brainstorm and get ideas. Finally, just a reminder that you can get a free copy of my Etsy Success Starter Guide in the description below. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.